Hello, welcome to the Self-Learning Podcast by Dr. Sushma Singh. Let us start discussion on Unit 22, Survey Instrumentation. And our topic is Issues in Designing a Survey Instrument. There are two most important issues which need to be kept in mind while designing a survey instrument. First is the reliability and second the validity of the survey instrument. The first is reliability. A reliable survey instrument is one that is relatively free from the measurement error. Because of this error, the scores obtained from the individuals are different from their true source scores, which can only be obtained from perfect measures. What causes this error? In some cases, the error results from the measure itself. It may be difficult to understand or poorly administered. For example, a self-administered questionnaire on the value of preventative health care might produce unreliable results if its reading level is too high for the teenaged mothers who are to use it. If the reading level is on the target but the directions are unclear, the measure will be unreliable. Of course, the survey research could simplify the language and clarify the directions and still find the measurement error. It is because measurement errors can also come directly from the examinees. For example, if teenaged mothers are asked to complete a questionnaire and they are especially anxious or fatigued, their obtained scores could differ from their true scores. There are four kinds of reliability discussed here in terms of survey research: stability, equivalence, homogeneity, and inter and intra-rater reliability. The first one is stability. Stability is sometimes called test-retest reliability. A measure is stable if the correlation between the scores from one time to another is high. Suppose a survey of students' attitude was administered to the same group of students at school A in April and then again in October. If the survey was reliable and no special program or intervention was introduced, then on the average we would expect attitudes to remain the same. The second one is equivalence. Equivalence or alternate form reliability refers to which two items measure the same concepts at the same level of difficulty. Suppose students were asked a question about their views toward the Sociology before participating in a computer course, and again 2 months after completing it. Unless the researcher was certain that the items on the survey were equal, more favorable views on technology after the second survey could reflect the survey's language level rather than the improved views. The next is homogeneity. Homogeneity refers to the extent to which all the items or questions assess the same skill, characteristics, or quality. Sometimes this type of reliability is referred to as internal consistency. For example, suppose a researcher has created a questionnaire to find out about students' satisfaction with a textbook. An analysis of homogeneity will tell us the extent to which all items on the questionnaire focus on satisfaction. The next one is inter and intra-rater reliability. Inter-rater reliability refers to the extent to which two or more individuals agree. Intra-rater reliability refers to a single individual's consistency of measurement. Now let us move to the next point, validity. Validity refers to the degree to which a survey instrument assesses what it purports to measure. For example, a survey of student attitude towards careers in information technology would be invalid if the survey only asks about their knowledge of the newest advances in the software and hardware technologies. Similarly, an attitude survey will not be considered valid unless you can prove that the people who are identified as having a good attitude on the basis of their responses to the survey are different in some observable way from people who are identified as dissatisfied. Four types of validity are often discussed: content, phase, criteria, and construct. The first one is content. Content validity refers to the extent to which a measure thoroughly and appropriately assesses the skills or characteristics it is intended to measure. For example, a researcher who is interested in mental health has to define the concept: what is mental health, how is health distinguishes from the disease, and then write items that adequately contain all aspects of the definition so that the concept is well explained in terms of its measure. The second one is face validity. Face validity refers to how a measure appears on the surface. Does it seem to ask all the needed questions? Does it use the appropriate language and language level to do so? Face validity, unlike content validity, does not rely on established theory for support. The next is criteria validity. Criteria validity compares responses to future performance or to those obtained from other, more well-established surveys. Criteria validity is made up of two subcategories: predictive and concurrent. Predictive validity is the extent to which a measure forecasts future performance. Concurrent validity is demonstrated when two assessments agree or a new measure is compared favorably with one that is already considered valid. The next is construct validity. Construct validity is established experimentally to demonstrate that a survey distinguishes between people who do and do not have certain characteristics. For example, a researcher will have to prove in a scientific manner that the satisfied respondents behave differently from the dissatisfied respondents. Now let us conclude the unit. This unit discussed the details of survey instrumentation. It describes the types of data collection, techniques and instruments and their advantages and disadvantages, role of interviewer biases, guidelines for constructing a questionnaire, and some principles to be kept in mind while preparing the questionnaire, and the issues of reliability and validity of the survey instrument. Each one of these items is important for the success of survey research, as this stage is crucial to yield reliable and valid data. Thus, the development of survey instrument translates the research question into a questionnaire, which then is used to generate data. Now let us wind up the session, and we have come to the end of the unit. Thank you very much for engaging yourself with the self-learning podcast.